Three,
two, one, activate!
Seventh circle spins up and hits part of the Yaga cluster.
And seventh circle going straight after Ernie because Ernie is now up to speed. That is going to be lethal if it makes contact.
Oh, big impact there. Oh, and another big impact there.
And already Ernie upside down, as we said, so seventh circle needs to take advantage of this.
I think they will take advantage of that. Vertical spin is working very nicely, although Yaga going face to face to seventh circle.
I now realise Ernie does not have a self-righting function. Does this count, spinning on the spot?
No, he's been counted out by the ref. His button has been activated. Seventh circle's got Yaga on its side, and I think he's going to leave it there because I think the fight's won.
and a little bit of...
It's definitely won now.
The first fight, and already the aggression coming out by seventh circle. David.
In the arena we have Percussive maintenance by the pit button, Impulse and Propane, three very established robots.
And immediately they go head to head. Not letting the egg beater spin up there, and Percussive maintenance over the top.
Yep, egg beater spinner on Propane, of course, former winner of a BBB event in, I think, within the last 12 months. Percussive maintenance has recently been over to the States and fought at Norwalk Havoc. Impulse, a bit of a new robot to the scene, but has really impressed over the last sort of year to 2 years, despite getting absolutely smacked up by Propane.
It looks like quite a compact robot, but a very durable robot. I think that's really the importance of going up against Propane. And Percussive maintenance, let's be honest, they are in this fight. They've been getting some good actions.
It is so beautifully driven. It's got a key redrive system, which means it can strafe from side to side as well as go forward and backward, although that's going to affect it because the wheels come out. The wheel of Percussive maintenance has been ripped out by Propane. And is available and is impressed by Impulse.
And I just want to highlight the beautiful light work on that button.
Gareth Barnaby's excellence, that degree and that doctorate has really come in handy for that. And Impulse has got Propane up in its forks, a great silent attack there.
So Impulse very much a driver robot, that's all about control. Propane relying on the beater, but they are doing a dance and getting close to the corner of the pit.
Great driving by Propane and Impulse again in underneath though. Oh, and a big impact. Oh, and over goes Propane.
And I'm quite impressed actually, Percussive maintenance, despite losing a wheel, they are still in this.
Propane
so
almost
close.
down the pit, but I think Impulse has lost a side of drive, or certainly has a wheel locked. I think the front right from the rear of the picture has been locked.
All that takes is a tiny push.
Oh.
Percussive maintenance into the pit, and it's now down to 2, and that is not good. I don't think so for Impulse.
And it isn't. And Propane, Andy Russell, superbly driven. It looks
so we're getting ready for the countdown. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Schism going next to Monterey Jack. Forkhead in underneath Schism and turning Schism over. Schism rights itself very quickly.
And this is a very Aquarius area because they've gone very close to the outer zone. We haven't really spoken about that yet, but if you hit the floor of the outer zone, you are out of the fight. So it's a dangerous place to be.
Absolutely, it's very risky being over there. Of course, that's where the pit button is located. It's kind of filling up now. You can see the lights.
So 30 seconds and then the pit button is activated. Monterey Jack looking a little bit slow around the arena floor.
Yeah, might be struggling to engage with the motors there, the wheels of Monterey Jack. Oh, Schism over and out! Flipped out by Forkhead.
So that lifter doing a fantastic job there. They really choreographed that. They pushed him over and it was really surgical, and now the pit button has been pushed. And Monterey Jack, that traction is really hurting them. Ever closer we go.
By Forkhead. Brilliant driving, and that was very tactical.
Hopefully they've kept the flashing police lights.
I believe they have. Frenzy up to speed immediately. AntiThesis goes face to face with Frenzy. No fear from AntiThesis and the crushing arm. Oh, and a massive impact by Frenzy, but self-righting is AntiThesis. Resistance doesn't know what's hit it.
And now we're seeing a bit of team-up action here because that beater is dangerous.
The crusher of AntiThesis on the wheel of Frenzy. He's got him.
And that has pierced through. That has pierced
Brilliant attack by AntiThesis in the wheel of Frenzy. Now, can Frenzy do anything about that? Resistance goes for the pit button. Are they going to go for the double knockout? Oh, look at this.
So they are locked in. They are locked together, though. I don't know what the ref's going to do about that. They have stopped the fight.
They've been locked together for too long. Good luck getting those two apart, guys.
19 according to the timer. Let's see what happens.
Away we go. Frenzy away from AntiThesis. Immediately back up the speed with that egg beater and hits Resistance.
And Resistance not shying away, getting ever closer to the pit. They are ready.
Down comes AntiThesis' weapon. Frenzy's in the pit, and AntiThesis is grappling down on poor old Resistance. They're in all kinds of trouble.
So they are tasting new blood. They've had enough of one. Go into another robot. The countdown has begun by the referee. Is this the final unstick?
Can it release Resistance in Carl at the moment? But it has managed to do it.
So the fight
Almost
continues.
reverse into the pit, but Resistance is struggling now. It's kind of bent and buckled and being pushed towards the pit.
And this is unlike Resistance. Their forks are getting trapped on the edge of the pit. That's why they couldn't just drive off.
The robot is now kind of bent and buckled. It's kind of hobbling on one side because of that crush from AntiThesis, but now Resistance gets in underneath and pushes AntiThesis into the corner.
So what Resistance really wants to do here is manoeuvre itself, as it almost did there, from having its back against the pit, because then it can go on the offensive and push into the pit.
Yeah, it can. Good stuff here from Resistance. AntiThesis looking a bit sketchy now, but I think they've got the points on the board. Resistance need to do something here to impress the judges, because if it goes to time, like it might do.
So the 10-second countdown has begun. Resistance, no, not about to give up.
No.
They're on the edge. 3 seconds left. Will they get them in the pit? Not
They
quite.
don't. He missed. Gareth Anstey, that was an open net. You've got to take that.
3,
Owen,
2,
no pressure.
1. Activate.
Demon Spirit and Babróg, the two non-spinners. C.D.G with that big undercutting spinner there. A good attack on Babróg early doors.
And immediately getting into that plastic, but now they are losing a bit of control, and Babróg taking advantage of that, getting behind them.
Babróg is brilliantly driven by Owen. He's very adept at what he does. He's perfected his robot over many years, and he's become a real force in Beetleweights over this last sort of couple of years. It's such a it's a scaled down version of his featherweight, which is 15-ish kilos, and he's scaled it down really well to Beetleweight scale. And he's now got C.D.G up against the wall, and he's going to grab and lift it.
So I will say Demon Spirit not really finding the traction, struggling to get around the arena. They were pushing the pit button, but it wasn't activated. Now it is, and they're getting close. There we go.
It's very much there into it, isn't it, I suppose, at this point, Demon Spirit. I don't know what's going on with the lifters.
Very much waving their arms in the air like they just don't care. Meanwhile,
don't care.
Babróg and well, there is a fight going on. C.D.G, Babróg and C.D.G, they are having a real tussle, and now C.D.G trying to get Demon Spirit into the pit, but living another day, Demon Spirit running away.
C.D.G's weapon has stopped working and hasn't been working for quite some time. So I do wonder whether that weapon is now immobilised. That will count against it should it go to time. Demon Spirit now being buffeted about by Babróg.
So I'd say this is very much Babróg in the driving seat with that traction, with that ability to grab, and the pit is in play. We're seeing a nice little tussle actually.
Yeah, good push there from Demon Spirit. We haven't seen much of it in this fight. Demon Spirit now pushed against the arena side wall.
I don't think Babróg has enough to lift over into the Uta zone. But this is getting close. Babróg, very unlike Owen there to get close to the pit.
Yeah, he's very skillful, but he's been a bit dangerously in this fight on occasion, but I think so far has controlled the pace of the fight very well indeed.
And that's a good pin that we're getting both robots up against the corner. Babróg just has so much more traction.
It does. And we are going to go to time between Demon Spirit, C.D.G and Babróg. No, finally won its first events.
1.
Big tournament. Di-Fi with a big vertical spinner. Watch Di-Fi move, by the way. It's amazing to watch in the arena. Massive weapon, look at it go. No wheels on Di-Fi, only weapon, and that is in full display right there. Enormous impact from Di-Fi.
So the Ponticabe taking an impact, and everyone reeling a little bit from that. Freak is over on the side, they're weaving back and forward. Is that both of the spinners looking like it's a bit immobilised?
We're back, we are so back, chat, we are so back.
Craig, this is your nightmare.
Pit is available, Chucky is down to one wheel, I think. Di-Fi's destroying the arena. Accu paid money for this.
Di-Fi taking itself over to the Uta zone. They are having a proper show there.
Going. Oh, the weapon stopped on Di-Fi. And Chucky and Freak are both down to one wheel. So Di-Fi has died.
You can see loads of shrapnel in the arena. Chucky lost, Di-Fi losing both of their thumbs and their hands.
There we go.
And now Chucky having their way with Freak, throwing them up against the arena wall.
Great impact there from Chucky, pushing Freak into the corner. Can it control the fight now? I think 1.5 wheels, maybe?
It's quite impressive that Di-Fi didn't hit the pit button during all of that commotion.
It's pointing very close to the pit button. Freak, meanwhile, is having an absolute moment. Chucky, no one's pressed the pit. Why is no one pressed the pit? Chucky's just breaking himself apart. No, Freak is breaking himself apart.
So now Chucky does have to be a little bit careful because the pit is there. They could fall in accidentally.
I don't think Freak's driving very much at all. One wheel is just spinning in place. The other one is not moving at all. He's just smacking into the arena. But why is it not down? Go down.
So just teasing us there. 15 minutes left on the edge, and finally we have a pit.
Oh, I tell you what, that was a...
2.
Sean said from Chris Griffin 2, I'm going to lock in, I'm going to win this fight, no problem. We will see. Oh, and Gizmo immediately going for Chris Griffin 2. The 10-inch death disc is what it was described as earlier.
I was going to say, Kenneth is such an understated name, but then you see the weapon and you realise that could do some damage.
It can, the big chopping hammer. Meanwhile, Gizmo is having his fun with Chris Griffin 2. He's not really spinning up to speed, is it, at the moment? Chris Griffin 2. Although it is starting to... No, he's tapped out. Tapping out, Hop? Are you serious?
And now the damage is being done. Arena is being covered in shrapnel from the plastic casing
of Kenneth. Yeah, Kenneth being ripped apart. There goes a wheel of Kenneth. Gizmo, you can see why it was runner up last year. It's absolutely dominant at the moment. The face being ripped off of Kenneth, and it's out of the arena.
Mercifully, Gizmo takes Kenneth out of the arena.
And got any grapes, a very heavy spinning weapon in the middle. Away we go. There goes the weapon of Got Any Grapes.
And immediately Got Any Grapes out of control, but now they're back on their feet. I'm going to call them their feet.
Well, it is their feet, because it is a shuffling robot. Oh, but I think one side of the shuffler has stopped working for Got Any Grapes. That could be toast.
Well, I'm not surprised why. Did you see the damage done on Kairos? That ramp has been absolutely obliterated.
It's just been bent to buckle and now data breach here.
And it's now a beautiful archway.
He's got a great opportunity to win this data breach.
Well, and Kairos being lifted up, data breach actually using that as an ability to hook and then hold Kairos up on there.
That ground game of Kairos is kind of now non-existent, isn't it, really? It's anti-ground game.
So we've had a massive impact. You can see the damage, but that has meant that Got Any Grapes has been counted out. And I think the swing of the fight is very much in Data Breach's favour.
Absolutely, unless Data Breach is stuck on the floor there, but no, they're good to go again.
So those forks are always a bit of a lethal thing. They're needed to get under the robot, but they do get stuck on the arena every now and then, especially up against the wall. And now we've got that fabled dance as neither robot wants to have their back against the pit.
Kairos has changed tactics and he's using the circular saw backwards. It's really interesting because they can't use the front to get in underneath now. So the reverse.
So no longer is it a hammer, it cannot come down on top, but they are positioning it, and Data Breach I think is becoming aware, using the lifter to get where they want to be, but brilliant manoeuvrability there. We're getting close to the pit.
Kairos brilliantly driven by Cat at the moment. She's keeping out of trouble with Data Breach's front end, and so Data Breach for all their ground game and the negative impact that Got Any Grapes has had on Kairos. Kairos has stayed in this really well.
And we're into the last 15 seconds of the fight, so it's probably going to go to the judge's decision, but can Data Breach do anything about it? Kairos literally just positioning themselves so that saw is always up against Data Breach.
Superbly driven by Cat for the second half of this fight, and I think Data Breach will be wondering why they couldn't finish them off, but I think credit to Kairos for staying
down. 2, 1, activate.
Okay, and we can see Bad Daddy up to speed, going after one of the carbon copies. Gra-bee and Carbon all looking at Bad Daddy, maybe not.
So we'll say, yeah, Bad Daddy actually not really being attacked much at all. The cluster bots are really going after each other, but now Carbon Copy are coordinating, and now they are going after Bad Daddy.
Yeah, they seem to be, now that you can see, they were going after Gra-bee a little, but now Bad Daddy is caught on one of the Carbon copies.
And that Beta getting a little bit slowed up there. They didn't really have much
you can see here, Gra-bee has nearly a grab on Bad Daddy, has let them go. Bad Daddy not really dominating the pace of this as I think we would have expected, but once it lands a hit, it will do a lot of damage.
Well, that Beta is not really lifting up the robots. All of the robots are so low, it can't really get underneath them. So it's digging in, it's doing more damage than actually vertical lifting.
Oh, very close. Oh no!
So, Nibby running for cover.
So Carbon Copy has avoided death, Nippy hasn't. Gra-bee looks like it'll be stuck now. Bad Daddy, you can see when it turns, the gyroscopic force of its blade causes it to hop up. So Carbon Copy's actually got a very good handle and control here.
And I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that was Carbon Copy who lifted Gra-bee up onto the wall, so that was really tactical by them. Great drivability by them. And now they can focus in on Bad Daddy. And Bad Daddy struggling. Oh! Everyone diving into the pit. That is 4 robots.
Lancer Frog while you can. Beautiful paint scheme. It's not going to last this fight.
So this is very much a Roboteer's dream battle in the sense that we've got some very different robots here. And Paradigm Spin spinning up, that is a full spinner, and throwing away the robots who hit into it. Bonkers getting thrown.
Yeah, you can see the effect there. I mean, Paradigm Spin takes a while to get up. Oh, I think that might be... No, it's still going.
Well, that's the weight of Paradigm Spin. I think that's needed to stabilize it. So let's see what happens. And that's the Lancebrog in the Uta zone.
So yeah, Lancebrog is out. Paradigm Spin, that foam thing is to help itself right if it's flipped upside down. It still seems to be working. And Bonkers has had a lot of control in this match already.
And that was a tactical aim. Bonkers aiming Paradigm Spin into the Uta zone, but Paradigm Spin, too much momentum, bounced right back out.
Right off of the very fancy polycarbonate, thanks for that. But they're still working.
Hit. Both robots getting thrown across the arena. The Paradigm Spin is Paradigm Spin's more bonkers than Bonkers.
Yeah. If you can believe, Paradigm Spin does have magnets underneath, so this is actually being more stable than it otherwise would be.
And I think Bonkers is being really tactical here. They are purposely getting themselves on the back end. They are trying to put Paradigm Spin in the Uta zone, and it bounced off Sir Lancebrog.
Yeah, I think technically they're fine, but let me tell you, Bonkers went very near to that Uta zone. Paradigm Spin is so durable.
So neither robot going for the pit button. They want to see this fight out, and it is 40 seconds left.
Yeah, I'm very impressed at both of the durability of them. Bonkers doesn't look like it sustained any real damage, but I imagine these hits are doing something.
Is that Paradigm Spin?
No, still going.
Once again, bouncing off of Sir Lancebrog. That's twice now Paradigm Spin has avoided the Uta zone.
Yeah, Lancebrog is getting hit. You'd think you'd be safe in the Uta zone, but it just keeps getting hit even after being eliminated.
And you cannot tap out, there's no protection there, but Bonkers is running away with this battle. They are throwing Paradigm Spin around the arena. There's been some really major impacts, but I think it's going to go to the judges.
I think it is, and I think there can only be one winner, but I mean, an amazing performance from Paradigm Spin, as it may not be moving anymore, but...
Gonna have to cut you off there, Craig. So, Luchador, what an incredible mask. I think that's the red zone with the lights gone off. And then we have Groundbreaker, that was in the blue, and that only leaves
Aggro Wobba. Aggro Wobba. Oh no!
So Wobba, you only just mentioned their name for this fight. They're already out, and Groundbreaker is on the edge. Luchador taking no prisoners, last year's champion.
Yeah, now I will say Luchador this year does not have access to the grabbing component. It is just a lifter, but it's still driven well.
And is there enough room in that Uta zone for two robots?
I think there has to be, but it's... I mean, it's still up in the air. Groundbreaker hitting our beautiful new pit button as well. So
I feel like Groundbreaker is potentially immobilized here. They're just not moving. The Luchador seems so committed to getting them into the Uta zone. Oh, they just helped out Groundbreaker, and it's a pushing match.
There we go.
But down into the pits goes Groundbreaker.
Yeah.
What a first.
3.
Yeah, lovely. I would recommend the sausage wraps. They're really good.
Activate.
Okay, so both robots up to speed. Cormoran waiting patiently.
So Cormoran to me looks like a slower robot. It doesn't look like, oh, look at the shrapnel. Cormoran bring him down the forks, and they tapped out immediately.
Yeah,
and Bulbasaur's trapped. Bulbasaur is trapped.
Yeah, so the link came out of Cormoran, and Bulbasaur sort of ended up underneath Cormoran in one of the more efficient hits.
So that's just damage conservation. They saw that the link was gone, and if that link is gone, it's the safety feature. Your robot is fully isolated.
Yeah. Has that been the fastest fight we've had so far today? Oh.
1.
And we're having a bit of a reset here, So Bulbasaur, are they going to be forced to start on their side?
That seems to be, yeah. So they've resumed the fight, sort of seeing basically the Cormoran move as a sticking, I would say. So this fight's actually still not over. Although Lamor is looking like it has lost one of its belts.
It doesn't look like the weapon is fully spinning up to speed. And Babróg now really just going in, doing the damage. And they were stuck, but Babróg just not giving them any inch of mercy.
Yeah, and I think, Bulbasaur has pulled this one out of nowhere. That is, we all assume that Bulbasaur had fainted, but no, they have won that match.
So that was a very difficult match. And I fear for Bob Toss.
Yeah, no, I mean Bob Toss. I mean, it's a difficult fight to be in, but we'll see what happens. I would expect the two spinners to go after each other. So Digestive seems to be having some issues spinning up at the moment.
Digestive really not up to full blast there. Maybe that's a concerted effort to not lose control.
Yeah. We can see the mini bot beating the devil out of Aquaholic, and I think it has lost something there, but it's still functioning.
It was hard to see which one lost the the shrapnel, but it was definitely Alcoholic doing the damage.
Yeah, Bobtoss getting a lift on Digestive recovering. Aquaholic looking very stable, moving around and taking a wheel off of Digestive.
Well, Aquaholic, that weapon is so fast you can't even see it spinning. It's very deceptive.
Yeah, it's quiet, it's deadly, but it is doing stuff. And Digestive, I think in trying to push Aquaholic down the pit, has knocked itself out.
That was such a sad sight because one wheel was on the edge. It almost looked like they could get themselves out, but not quite.
Yeah.
And look at Bobtoss, the mini-bot, flipping the paintbrush, trying to do some damage to Aquaholic.
Yeah, so, I mean, it looks like part of Aquaholic has gotten into Bobtoss. Damage on one of the wheels, but they are still functioning. More damage to the mini-bots.
And more importantly, Aquaholic's actually struggling to push them around. So they do have some pushing power in this fight.
They have, but Aquaholic also has 2 wheels that are attached to the robot. Although, however, one of those wheels of Bobtoss seems to be in the weapon mech of Aquaholic, disabling the weapon.
So we're definitely getting the damage done. Aquaholic definitely leading that bracket, but we have 30 seconds left to go, and Bobtoss is somehow maneuvering himself over to Aquaholic.
Yeah, they're both sort of limping at this stage. Aquaholic does still have mobility, but I don't know if it has the pushing power. Certainly against the mini-bot, and getting that in the pit will score good points for the judges.
So there goes Bobtoss's paints. He is now out of action in terms of the paintbrushes, and this has been quite a slow sight. Can Aquaholic finish the fight with all robots in the pits?
Yeah, I mean, Bobtoss sort of living up to the image of the broke artist, but is still moving, still working, and...
3, 2, 1. Activate.
So fatal deviation, a little but nippy robot, and home improvement fully up to speed. That does not deter fatal deviation, they're going straight in there.
Yeah, they hit them there. Home improvement definitely with a nasty weapon here.
And I think that might be it. That seems to be the back damage done.
Yeah, I mean, battery's not included, doesn't seem to be moving. Fatal deviation, I mean, home improvement made him look bad, and that's not good.
So fatal deviation dived in. Great having so many people across the world watching here today.
Yeah,
Activate.
so we can see the spinners getting up to, well, not quite as up to speed as I was expecting. Jackhammer having Amethyst in place, Abracadabra taking control early on in this match.
So this is everyone kind of stuck together, all being a bit pinned, but none of the spinners getting up to speed. Not even Jackhammer's spinning disc. Nothing's really moving.
Yeah, Amethyst is sort of working, but it doesn't seem to have a huge amount of momentum going on. However, the drive platform on it is still very strong, so it's not out of this. Jackhammer now spinning up.
I was going to say, Amethyst seems more than happy to play the driving game, the control game. Yeah. They seem very happy, they're comfortable to play that. And Abracadabra, are they stuck on the wall? No,
they're not stuck, but they seem very affected in mobility. But however, both Jackhammer and Amethyst are stuck each other.
Well, if I was Abracadabra, I'd be darting over to that pit button.
Yeah.
Look at where those robots are precariously placed.
Yeah, so we can see Amethyst going for the pit. All of these robots, I wouldn't say there's not really a robot here looking at 100%. But Jackhammer getting a nice hit there.
I'm not sure how much damage was really done because I think it hit the weapon of Amethyst, and that's quite a sturdy bit of steel.
I think I can see a tiny slot there, but now you don't want to bring that weapon down now.
I'm looking at Abracadabra, one of their wheels is not moving at all, and they're getting ever closer to the pit. They might end up in the bottom, and down they go, taking themselves out. So now Amethyst, Jackhammer, here's a 2-robot fight.
Yeah, definitely a shame for Abra, but there is always a redemption. There are things that can be fixed. Meanwhile, we have a very interesting, very even fight, I would say, here. Amethyst seemingly running the clock, using pins, holding for as long as possible, trying to get Jackhammer to not hit anything.
And this is going to be a really challenging one for the referee, for the judges, because the weapons, they're just not really a contention in this fight. I know Jackhammer's got some good hits in, but Amethyst, what's that spinner been doing? I can't think of any impact made by it.
No, the spinner hasn't been functional. The drive system certainly has. And it might, very close.
I think Abracadabra, though, would have saved Jackhammer, just stopping Jackhammer from falling into the pit.
Bubblegum Lift, the lifter, Icebreaker, the vertical spinner, and Siren, the other lifter, all in the arena now.
And Bubblegum Lift immediately getting lifted up. That was a great impact.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have to say the favourite in this matchup would have to be Icebreaker. Bubblegum Lift, very strong pushing power, it has to be said. Has taken it so far.
Basing on weapon alone, yes. I would agree that Icebreaker has the greater damage ability, but let's be honest, these are some great drivers. And right now we've got Icebreaker stuck on top of Bubblegum Lift.
I mean, Siren, I think, is waiting for the pit button to be available instantly. Smart tactics. Icebreaker is going to want to get this one finished quick enough because these two robots want that thing in the pit.
I was was going to say, so we've got pretty much two grabber, pusher, control robots. They're kind of working together, but then they do trip over each other, and it's just Icebreakers relying on the damage-doing ability of that weapon.
In these fights, there's always a temptation to, if you can see a chance to feed your opponent into that other weapon.
And Siren is stuck. They are stuck in a weird position, actually. They are waving up and down, but there's nothing they can do. They're not immobilized. They just can't self-right.
Yeah, they need like a tiny bit more travel or a tiny bit more momentum. Very nice hit there. And Icebreaker looking... It's not able to get its weapon up to speed. Now it is. Oh,
Bubblegum Lift with a lovely pin there against Icebreaker, and I thought Bubblegum Lift was going to help Siren get unstuck so that they had an extra help in this fight, but no, they've tapped out.
Yeah,
Siren is out of the fight.
Bubblegum Lift is here, and it's still in this fight. It's still very much, it's taking the hits. The lifter hasn't been much in play, but to be fair, Icebreaker moves around so much, it's hard to really use it. Very close to the the arena zone there now.
So Icebreaker relying on that weapon. They're hoping that it can lift up Bubblegum Lift, but they don't need to. Bubblegum Lift is stuck on the arena edge. They are stuck.
Yeah, I don't think they're just the way the geometry is working. That's a very unfortunate spot to be stuck.
And you can see Bubblegum Lift, they weren't out. They had their weapons still working, but
Activate.
So very interesting match to see here.
So Schism with a beautiful bright shield, and that sword going up against the arena edge, and now the hammer coming down.
Yeah, Schism usually waits a while before getting that weapon up to speed, is wasting very little time in this match, getting that thing straight in.
And they really are. They're going at the base of the weapon of Percussive, so they are really targeted in. They seem to be leading this fight.
Yeah, if you can get maybe the gears or the base where that weapon is, if you can hit that might disable Percussive Maintenance's weapon.
Well, I just heard Percussive Maintenance weapon come down, and that is actually quite a heavy impact.
Yeah.
And they are now stuck in a Schism, but they managed to release themselves.
Yeah, got a very nice bite in there. One good hit of that axe, and they might be able to maneuver Schism to the pits. And it has to be said, the front shield and Percussive Maintenance is doing a very good job at keeping that blade of Schism away.
Well, finally, Percussive Maintenance able to get some impacts onto Schism. Schism just dodging that one there, and once again going underneath Percussive Maintenance. The forks of Schism are really helping them in this fight.
Yeah, another very nice attack there from Percussive Maintenance. Both robots not really landing any killer shots, but gaining points, gaining aggression, and we can see there actually Percussive Maintenance. That axe head is going very close to the belt on Schism. If they hit that, then that spinning weapon is gone.
So Percussive Maintenance hitting the pit button, and I think Percussive Maintenance has a longer reach than Schism. They're doing the ballet dance. They look a little bit stuck on their forks, and they finally release. And they're getting so close to the pit.
Yeah, very punch drunk here. Schism not getting up the weapon, getting them going for the push.
So Schism, unfortunately,
Kairos in the red square.
Both of them opting to have their cluster boss, and the cluster boss battle it out whilst the big boys go up and up, and now Kairos getting some damage done. I saw a puff of smoke. Yeah,
they seem to have some kind of a hairdo on the top, but it does seem to have... I don't know if that weapon... I think that might have actually entangled the blade of Kairos. I don't think that thing can cut anymore.
I'm looking at... I'm trying to see if we can see some hairs and some stuck matting in the sword.
Yeah, that is definitely a caught up saw. I don't know if that'll be working anymore. Kairos does still seem to have a pushing power advantage, though.
Absolutely, they are leading this battle in the sense that they are the aggressor, and the cluster bot coming in to hit the button. So clearly, it looks like Kairos is now on the right side, and Yaga with a good flip, actually.
Yeah, no, the cluster seemingly in their own fight. Kairos very close to the pit. This is still not over. Both of them very, very tetchy here. We can see here one of the clusters does seem to have been immobilized. Kairos bringing in the blade again, maybe just use it as a grabbing arm. That was very efficient.
Well, I saw the blade spin up a tiny...
Activate.
So both robots charging straight at each other. Demon Spirits trying to use those forks and lifters to get a good lift on Kenneth. Kenneth's sort of orbiting Demon Spirit here, waiting to get a good hit in with the axe. You can see Demon Spirit sort of having this 360-degree motion with their lifters, which in theory should allow them to get underneath Kenneth from any angle, but it can also lift the robot itself. And at the moment, they're looking more like waving arms right now. Does not seem to be intimidating Kenneth. And there we have it, some hits coming in. You can see Demon Spirit trying to get itself out of this situation. And Kenneth bringing in the weapon, and I believe the Kenneth has lost its axe head. I believe it has come loose. That is not optimal if they want to get damage, and it also means that if Demon Spirit can flip Kenneth may not be able to get back on its wheels. As I say that, one of the forks in Demon Spirit seems to be going loose itself, but it is underneath Kenneth. There is still action that may be done here. Kenneth tactically get moving away. Demon Spirit, once again, they meet head-on. Forks against forks. There we go.
Sorry, I left you alone. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. We can see here Demon Spirit getting a good push in on Kenneth. In terms of damage, you would have to give it to Demon Spirit at the moment. Although the judges can sometimes look at self-inflicted damage a bit differently. Demon Spirit may have gotten itself stuck into the arena, trying to use the forks to free itself in what may have been the slowest charge into the arena to get the fork stuck that I've ever seen. It's gotten itself loose. Neither bot has gone for the pit. Although I would say the pushing power in this fight is not massively to talk about in this situation.
2, 1.
Yeah, so
Seize.
that fight is going to go to the judges, who I believe...
Activate.
So immediately straight on, we can see a huge amount of speed from both of these machines here.
Really just a head-on collision, and actually surprisingly Impulse getting underneath Monterey Jack. I thought the scoop of Monterey Jack would have stopped that.
Yeah, no, Monterey Jack has a wider scoop, but Impulse has those ground-scraping forks, has that drive power, and has the sewer snake-styled mechanism, which is very good at overturning opponents. So we can see here, again, Monterey Jack under pressure. Still has some mobility, but needs to get under Impulse to use its chainsaw weapon.
Yeah, Impulse being driven absolutely incredibly, going behind pretty much every time Monterey Jack turns around. Impulse is there, and they're constantly getting underneath, constantly pinning up against the pit wall.
Like, you can see Monterey Jack is trying to just face Impulse, but it's so quick and so rapid. And getting these lifts. And now, of course, Monterey Jack can drive from any side, any angle. So Impulse, the only way it'll get a knockout will be from getting Monterey Jack out of the arena in this situation.
And we're halfway through this fight. Impulse just throwing Monterey Jack up against the wall. It's been quite one-sided, I feel, so far, but we're now into the second half of the fight. Let's see what Monterey Jack can do, although that's a really good pin.
Yeah, playing the clock, smart move from Impulse. Like, this feels like one of those kind of cathartic redemption rumble fights where if you've had a loss in your first fight, having your robot working in the second fight, really satisfying feeling. And it has to be said, Monterey Jack is not making this easy for Impulse. This is a decent performance from Monterey Jack here as well.
And I'm looking at the Roboteers, the concentration on their faces. They really do need to concentrate in these driving battles.
Yeah, so we can see here, neither of them going for the pin as well, although while I say that, it looks like Impulse was sort of going for an Uda. Nearly got it there.
But there's only 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
And I say that, Monterey Jack just avoiding the jaws of the pit.
Yeah.
And they are going to make it to the end of this fight.
Yeah, I can't see any of them going in the pits at this stage. Very well done fight, very well fought match. This is meant to be a rematch, apparently. They have fought before, and already you can see the impact.
So immediately being thrown up against the wall is Freak and Frenzy now darting around. They're trying to find the best way to attack Freak because you do not want to get hit by that weapon.
I will say, I do not see Frenzy's weapon spinning up. That is a major advantage for Freak, if it can actually stay on the ground.
Well, you say that, but actually sometimes the weapon, never mind! Freak is out in the Uta zone. Frenzy, what a tactical move.
Activate.
It'll be interesting to see what happens here. Already up to speed, Chris Griffin and C.D.G. A lot of gyroscopic forces going on here.
And I feel that the arena is going to get damaged more than the robots.
Oh! And I believe
Was that a
Chris
link?
Griffin managed to snipe the link on top of C.D.G.
Was
and
that
has
a
immobilized
tactical
him.
link removal?
That would genuinely seem like it. I was not expecting that, but I mean that's always the thing. If you have an exposed link,
Activate.
not have the mobility, but it does have that very, very scary weapon, which Resistance needs to try to avoid.
But Resistance seems very happy to go face on against Guiney Grapes. I don't know why they're so happy to. And immediately they're pushing Guiney Grapes to the pit area.
Oh no, and we can see some of the mobility. I think I can actually see one of the motors inside. It's not quite engaging with the legs.
Does it look like that is the gears? Oh yes, I can see something's wiggling. The gears are not quite meshing. And is that a tap out? That's such a shame.
That is, yeah, no, that is.
Activate.
So Gra-bee diving straight in and now on top of Amethyst, but Amethyst cannot get their weapon spinning like that, but they do get a pin up against the wall.
Yeah, so definitely a way to play for time. We'll see if Nippy can go and help the larger Gra-bee robots. We can see Amethyst staying very close here at the moment.
And I really want Gra-bee to do well, but Amethyst is such a low-profile robot. Gra-bee's grabbers are actually quite high up against it. They're going to really struggle to hold on. But now they get a chance, and that's exactly what they need, attacking from the side.
Yeah, that was a good push, good grab from Gra-bee. We can see again Amethyst, the blade trying to get up to speed, but seemingly unable to get a huge amount of momentum into that play at the moment.
And once again, Gra-bee getting the side of Amethyst. That's really where they can hold on and start to try and maneuver. The pit button lights has gone out, so it's hard to tell when it's enabled, but it is now going down. The pit is now a factor in this fight.
Yeah, and we can see here already Gra-bee in a very vulnerable position, staying away for now. Maybe the pit button was not actually pushed. I think we may not have seen that happening.
Well, I'm watching Joe. The pit is broken, everybody, so it will not come into effect. Well, and I think that saved Gra-bee because Gra-bee was not in a good spot.
Divine intervention saving
The
Gra-bee, but
pit
not for
is
long.
down. The pit is down, and Gra-bee's gone in.
And I believe the fight is over. I don't know if it's been called yet because there is the mini-bot, but it does seem like it has been called. There we go. The siren has gone off. Shout-outs to Joe for the controls.
Let's see if that lasts
Very well
as
done.
we now get the fight underway. And the paintbrush is in the Utah zone.
Yeah, so already the mini-bot is dead. Paradigm spinning up. Is it moving?
It's
though?
not moving. It's very stationary. In fact, that is not moving at all.
Oh, there we go. We got some movement now. And we got something going fire in there.
So welcome to the circus, as I've lovingly called the arena. That is flying all over the place. Bob Toss has lost a wheel just by itself. Paradigm Spin has done more damage to itself than anyone else.
Yeah, it does. We can see here, I think Paradigm Spin is still carrying some damage from its first match. It's not fully mobile, but then again, neither is Bob Toss.
So they are seesawing next to each other. Bob Toss trying to make his way over to Paradigm Spin. Kind of being more of the aggressor in this fight, I'd have to say, because Paradigm Spin is just very stationary.
Yeah, well again, it has magnets underneath which help with drive, but it also prevents you from being able to do what we call crab walking, where you basically move in one direction, like what Bob Toss is doing right now.
And we've only just entered the second half of this fight. Already clutter all over the place. The mini-bot unlovingly dumped in the corner. Bob Toss is very close to the pit, but there's nothing Paradigm Spin can do to get close to the button.
Yeah, so this is, again, it's landing hits. This is very much an... I mean, if the fight goes to the judges at this stage, I don't know who to call it for, but I don't think either robot, they'll want to do something. We can see Paradigm Spin making moves towards the pits.
The damage is kind of there for Paradigm Spin, but the aggression is more been a consequence of Bob Toss actually being aggressive, making the way over the Paradigm Spin in this fight. Look at Paradigm Spin, it's just stationary.
It's on the verge. We can see the referee is fuming at this.
Well, no, not the referee. David is actually competing because the referee was counting down Paradigm Spin.
Yeah.
It got so close,
however,
and then Paradigm Spin got traction.
Very close.
Oh my God, Bob Toss has hit the button. Paradigm Spin
Can
is
Paradigm
done.
Spin survive? Can our pit survive?
And it's in the pit. Wait, I don't know what happens. The pit wasn't fully lowered. Does that count? I'm really not sure.
Activate.
Wobba in the red, and Wobba driving straight in. This is going to be a battle of fighting, although Wobba with the axe hits, that's going to do him well in aggression. So now the forks are wedged each other. It's quite a difficult maneuver. The both forks are under each other. Siren is the one looking to break away, but Wobba doesn't seem to be able to. And that is a cease, as was struggling and actually jumping in himself. It needs to be 1 minute 39 left on the clock, and both roboteers are eager to get going. So Siren pulling away so that they can get better action, and Wobba looks to be stuck on some debris. I think their wheel is actually not moving, and that's acting as a brake. And there's a lot of smoke there, so that is controllers down. This is a well-known process. And here we go. The spinners are spinning up. And is that Ernie looking to make the first move? Here comes Di-Fi actually.
Mobile here, it's going to be big!
Massive impact. Ernie is still mobile though. Di-Fi making its way to the wall. That's not where they want to be. Ernie now able to attack the back of Di-Fi.
Rob's got to get his robot turned around here, really make some contact, make some magic happen, my friend.
Well, he somehow managed to do it. The gyro effect of that spinning weapon, he's manoeuvring himself over towards Ernie. Can we get another massive impact as the pin button has been activated?
If you look at Ernie, Ernie's weapon isn't working to full percent here.
But I don't think Ernie needs it because the pin is lowering and Die-By is so close, but not quite close enough. Managing to get away from the edge.
Oh, he's gone down!
In defiance, Die-By jumping.
Activate.
Here we go. Here, very much a difference in scale. We can see already Fatal Deviation, very nippy, very rapid.
My question is, what can Fatal Deviation do to Cormoran apart from get tangled up in those egg whisk wheels?
I would say that's part of it. It can try to lift and flick Cormoran around, keep Cormoran in whatever conflict it needs to. Try to avoid the center of it getting hit by the blade.
Just like that. You can hear it go against the metal of Fatal Deviation. It seems though when Tony attacks, he
Enabled.
wobbles around like a jello.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be very interested to see Cormoran against a spinner because it feels like everything would just bounce. But against Fatal Deviation, like, what is there to lift with Fatal Deviation? It feels like you're watching two different weight classes coming together.
Oh, there's a jam on the left side of drive for Fatal Deviation. Tony bringing in the saw.
Yeah.
It's absolute monstrosity here.
Bringing in the weaponry, Fatal Deviation.
What are they doing?
There we go. Oh, getting to know each other very well. Fatal Deviation is now again free. Just seemingly recovered mobility, but
Still
again,
jammed up, I think, at the front corner there.
yeah, that's a very interesting.
Oh, you can hear the saw go down.
I mean, it has to be said, Fatal Deviation is remaining aggressive, but so is Cormoran. This is a relatively even fight, and I was not expecting that going into this match.
I don't think the judges get paid enough for this one, I'm afraid. Or at all, actually. They don't. No trust money in there.
No, exactly. So we can see, now, if Cormoran can snipe the link on Fatal Deviation, which does stick out at the top, that would be a genuine knockout, and it's
You can hear
very
him go
close.
for it now.
Yeah,
Tony bringing the pain as usual.
That is genuinely very good control from Cormoran there. Very good aggression. And Fatal Deviation is just perplexed here. I don't know if it knows what to do.
If I had a big yellow robot on top of me, I would also be very confused.
Yeah, so
He's coming down to the wire here.
Yeah, it looks like I don't think the count out will come in time for Fatal Deviation, which has kept on moving. But yeah, we're going to the judges.
And Gav's going for lunch.
He
Or
is
break.
indeed.
I don't know. Bye, Gav.
Activate.
All right, here we go. We've got no box rush really coming in.
Now, it has
But
to be...
it's jockeying a position here.
Yeah, it has to be said, Digestive's weapon was not fully operational in its first fight. That is much more of the speed, but it is being controlled by Lancelot here. So the Forks and Digestive do seem to be losing these matches here. And
there we go. That's a good hit there from the Digestive.
And the Self-Rider,
back over.
a beautiful mechanism there. Digestive not really able to capitalize once, could capitalize again. Lancelot definitely a nip and tuck fight at the moment.
But now on the wedge as well as the Frog, Digestive goes over.
Yeah, keeping Digestive under pressure. There's a lot of gyroscopic forces involved with Digestive, and Lancelot is really unsettling them. Going for the pit button.
I think on the drive side of Digestive locked up. No, it's all good.
Yeah, so the pit has been enabled. Lancelot, I mean, both of them you'd have to say have the drive power to pit the other, but
no, I think that's just tape.
Yeah, I think so. Some visual issues, but again, both robots looking very strong. Anyone's to win here. Lancelot self-riding takes a while to self-ride, but again, not fast enough for Digestive. We can see here again, Digestive trying to stay near the Unizone. Another nasty hit. Again, Lancelot survives.
Final gone though. It's lost an eye.
Again, we can see here, Digestive definitely under pressure. Like, this is still, I mean, earlier Lancelot would have been in pieces before this. And hold on a moment.
Rob,
has Digestive, he's put the controller down. He's going to try to work with something here. The crowd is going ballistic. We have hoaxed by the Roboteers. Lancelot has done it. It has defeated Digestive. It will move into the round of 32. It's a nice one. Omni-wheel drive struggled in its first fight after one hit. It survived one hit this time, and Bad Daddy was very much sort of overwhelmed by the children in the first match.
Now it's doing the overwhelming, and I think that's it. Its battery is not included, can't self-ride. But a big hit there from Bad Daddy keeps the fight going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sporting in a way by Bad Daddy, but I don't know how much you'd consider it sporting when you're getting punched in the face.
Well, I think that's it. It's the mockery The gyro dance.
I mean,
Getting counted out.
yeah, very qualified, measured performance there from Bad Daddy, showing that it's still good, it's still able to fight. And, you know, going into the round of 32 with minimal damage.
Activate.
Lawnmower spinning up, Gra-bee trying to set the pace early. Already that mini-bot taking a major hit. So we can see here again, Gra-bee, you know, wasting no time, keeping Lawnmower under pressure, nearly getting them flipped over. But Lawnmower pushing back, chewing up that lifting weapon on Gra. Very even fight so far here.
The flat sides of Lawnmower might be possible to get a side stack in there, but not right now. Maybe I think they reset.
Yeah, it seems like Lawnmower occasionally turn off the weapon, try to gain some ability back. Again, Abra remaining to the side. Lawnmower not able to get anything, but there we go. Flipped over now. Lawnmower will be way less effective upside down than right side.
Hit is available. I think Aggro going for it now. It's been pressed. The mini-bot looking a bit sad in the corner.
Yeah, Lawnmower trying to right itself, but very close to the pit. One wheel already over.
And it's in.
A shame for Lawnmower. A lot of love between the Roboteers there.
Activate.
Final redemption match. Bubblegum Lift versus Groundbreaker 2. A lot of kinetic energy. I mean, Bubblegum Lift already coming from an extensive rebuild. But Groundbreaker looking very strong, very scary. Able to do a lot of damage here.
Well, it's all about if Sam Elliott can outdrive those forks really well. And he does so there. Great shot by Sam Elliott there.
Yeah, it seems that Groundbreaker has imploded both of its own forks.
Over it goes. Sam Elliott away by the pit.
Yeah, he's playing the time. He's not taking any chances here. He was a little slow there, but Groundbreaker is looking way more concerned now. Trying to use the weapon to right himself, but can't seem to get the engagement.
I think he's going a bit too angled against the wall. Sam Elliott, though, controlling the pin.
Yeah,
there he goes.
I will say this is not winning any points for the event organisers for Groundbreaker, damaging their beautifully painted arena.
No, but they know what they signed up for. Oh my goodness.
Jesus. That has righted Groundbreaker. They're not done yet. Something's gone flying off. And there, just like this. Yeah, we can see the pit button is shattered in some way. But we can see here, beautiful push. Oh. I just know Sam was sweating buckets there.
Activate.
There we can see both robots meeting together. Kairos seemingly winning that first interaction, but Luchador always so mobile, always able to try to get out and getting a flip on Kairos right there and then.
Struggling to self-right though.
Yeah, slow enough self-riding, but again Luchador piling on pressure. One of Kairos' forks went beyond one of the walls, but has managed to get back in. Again, it's very difficult for Kairos to get a proper bite on Luchador, so to speak. You can see again a few more tosses being given. Luchador, I mean, Kairos has speed and has control, but Luchador is just able to exit into these engagements so rapidly.
But no matter how much control it's got, Luchador, that's the entire objective of that robot. That's how it's won those championships.
Mini-bot coming in, and Luchador actually using the arm to stop the saw blade. Pretty quick, clever thinking there from Jack Franklin. Again, Kairos keeping pressure on, but Luchador constantly getting wonderful flips on this.
Now the pit's on, Luchador might be able to use that slow self-lighting there just to get a small little inkling into.
Yeah, again, it has to be said though, Luchador being as fast as it is also wonderful to being knocked into the pit or driving the pit itself. Not a concern. One move, and Luchador has pitted.
Activate.
Kenneth heads rejoice, your hero has returned. Carbon a copy, though, getting in, using its control, and already putting some pressure on Kenneth here.
Carbon copy already looking a lot lower than Kenneth in the first few exchanges, and they have two of them. Hoping to get one underneath, maybe lift them up, and then have the other one pushing towards an arena hazard. Yeah,
has to be said, I think Carbon Copy had one of the more impressive wins, beating Bad Daddy in its first matchup, and it's performing very similar here against Kenneth. You know, Kenneth, you can try to keep one of them ahead of him, but you can't keep both of them. And
enable.
Has to be said, Carbon Copy, it has drive and lift power as well, which is very hard to do in a cluster robot.
The pit is now available. Will the second cluster go for the pit release? The first one seems to be pinning. They're going to use the full 20 seconds there.
I mean, the strategy of using a cluster to pin on top of the other one is you know, they're the kind of strategic decisions you can't normally see in robot combat, but it's doing a very, very good job here, I have to say. Carbon Copy controlling the match. Kenneth with that hammer, presumably attached properly this time. It does seem to be working, though it does seem to be missing a little. It might be a little too tall to actually reach Carbon Copy, either one of them here.
Carbon Copy definitely winning the ground game throughout this fight. It's going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah, so you can see here we're well past a minute now. The pit is still potentially available, but Carbon Copy doesn't seem to want to go for the pit. And to be fair, it is winning this match at the moment. Kenneth's waving at Carbon Copy, trying to get itself free. Carbon Copy has again, for the second fight in a row, gotten its lifter wedged in somewhere it ideally shouldn't be, but is proving very well, though this might be win on stick. It is dead win on stick. Gareth very, you know, countdown again.
In 3, 2, 1. Activate.
So 20 seconds left on the clock. Has to be said, Carbon Copy has looked the stronger robot, but Kenneth can still perform an upset here. Carbon Copy, for a moment, getting stuck.
10, 9,
we're at the final 10 minutes, or 10 seconds.
7,
Apologies.
6,
See it here,
5,
again, just relentless aggression from Carbon Copy.
2,
Winning the control game so handily. Surprised they haven't gone for the pit at any point, but it's got the aggression, as you say, it's got the control.
activate.
So already, I mean, Schism is going to want this fight to... you should be able to win the ground game, but 1 or 2 hits from Bonkers could do a lot of damage to Schism's chances here.
It certainly doesn't want to get caught in Schism's traps there.
Yeah, but again, Schism keeping the control here, not wanting to feed the arm into the weapon, but definitely maneuvering Bonkers in such a way, trying to get them out of the arena. Using almost sort of the bounciness of Bonkers' drive and weapon power.
I mean, some people think it's Bonkers, but some people think it's free.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't want to give a free win to Schism here at all. It maybe had a chance to get around the side, but again, Schism keeping that front underneath them, keeping it ahead, and just controlling Bonkers.
Pit tap there. Schism, the long fork just going into the button.
Yeah, another few bounces here. Bonkers very dangerously, and it's in the pit. Oh, there we go.
Seize.
Nothing crazy about that one. Schism has gone on trip.
Activate.
So both weapons spinning up to speed. A lot of drive power, a lot of weapon power in this one. And instantly you can see, you know, flying back both of them.
2 massive beaters coming to blows there.
Yeah. I mean,
which one do we think is going to come out on top? Frenzy in that exchange.
Yeah, Frenzy taking some chunks out of the polycarb there. Again, Frenzy has a lot of power. It feels like Frenzy is slightly better at head-on-head engagements and has more power, but Babróg seems a lot more planted and grounded. And you can see here, like Frenzy trying to get back to the ground.
Babróg seems like it's lost some stuff.
It's losing a bit. It's lost the drive. It's lost the weapon at the very least. Drive is still functional. It's twitching, but it does seem a little iffy. Frenzy looking at full health at the moment.
Frenzy is hunting down its prey at this point.
We're barely mobile at this point. I think part of its floor is caught on the ground. But Frenzy's taking no chances.
Oh my goodness.
Tried to go for the elimination. May have regretted it, but has survived. I don't know what's going to happen. Another massive hit, but Frenzy very close to the pit.
Got to be so careful with robots this powerful and fast.
Yeah,
not to end up in the pit yourself.
Yeah, and you can actually hear Frenzy is spinning down the weapon to gain some control. And again, even that nearly backfired. Well, listen, we can see here 2 robots still moving. Not looking the most mobile either, as we said. Although Babróg getting a nice shove there on Frenzy.
Both upside down, neither weapons working at the moment. I don't know if that's a choice or...
I think Frenzy might be able to get the weapon spinning, but it's very much a choice. Take it easy. You know, I think Frenzy is leading at this stage.
Babróg seem to be driving better upside down.
Yeah, it's caught it there, and we've actually got a count out going on at the moment.
10,
countdown.
9, 8, 7.
And that's it. It's called. So...
Activate.
Whoever goes out here is out. High stakes. Great pushes from Impulse to start us off.
Yeah, really wants to try and keep Icebreaker off centre here, really stop it from catching some momentum, and it's doing that really good there. Great throw into the wall.
This is really a control game. Impulse is keeping on top of it, but there's sparks. We know there's engagement. Can Icebreaker get that good hit he's looking for?
interlocking, jockeying for position here. It's Impulse cannot make a mistake, because if we do, Icebreaker's going to take all day.
Icebreaker is great at taking advantage of those small mistakes and dominating the rest of the fight. Impulse needs to keep this up. It's doing a great job so far. I'm surprised it hasn't tried to go for the pit, but that might involve turning its back to Icebreaker, which is dangerous.
Oh, wherever it goes.
Here we go.
There we go. There's nearly capitalising, but that's a good recovery from Impulse there. Look at the size difference in this fight. Icebreaker looks massive compared to Impulse. I don't know if it's because Impulse is tiny or...
Both these robots, of course, 1.5 kilogram Beetleweight.
Descending.
Same weight, different
Descending.
time.
Pit goes down. If you're Impulse, you want Icebreaker in there.
Impulse is in a great position. Now it's not. Now, it's real give and take in this match.
Oh, that's a good hit from Icebreaker.
28 seconds to go.
Can't seem to capitalise. It doesn't... It gets one hit and then Impulse is back, ready to go. Fork to fork, and that was a good shot from Icebreaker.
It's a great push. Oh my
nearly.
goodness.
Oh, nearly overcooked it there.
It's a great recovery.
9, 8,
Icebreaker
7,
still on the hunt.
6,
Can it deliver the
5,
death blow in the last few seconds?
2, 1.
Nice try there, but there we go. Judge's decision.
It goes to the judges. I do not envy them on that one. Have
Activate.
Jackhammer and Ernie.
So Jackhammer, the yellow robot, Ernie, the beautiful blue robot, about to take off. Here's Ernie, and he's very close to the Utah zone.
Jackhammer now missing its disc. We were told it wasn't going to work. Ernie is upside down.
And has it done the thing again? Ernie seems to
devastating.
be out. The controller's down. They're looking to push the button to tap out, and they've tapped out.
They have tapped out. A victory for Jackhammer. 2
Activate.
knockout round.
And immediately a big knockout there against Chris Griffin, but they're still mobile. Home Improvement looking to get a second hit in.
Chris Griffin too is getting that disc up to speed. Home Improvement's blade looks like it is down. The belt is off.
I was going to say, I thought I just saw the belt, and the belt is fully off now, so that got cut by Chris Griffin too. So Chris Griffin too cutting into Home Improvement. That's really bad. Or potentially self-sustained damage. Those belts do just fling off.
They do indeed.
In it.
Chris Griffin's blade is still spinning. That 10-inch death disc.
And the gyration effect is now coming into force because they are losing control of their robot. The pit has come into play, so close to the Utah zone. Can Home Improvement move Chris Griffin over to the pit?
Words you never thought you would hear.
Well, especially two big knockout robots with their big weapons, but Home Improvement, the game plan has changed. And Chris Griffin, are they immobilized? No, they're still moving.
Home Improvement just about moving across the floor here. Won't be counted out for that.
So normally Home Improvement would just have its spinner. They would probably be up to speed and would self-right it, but that scenario doesn't work right now. And into the pit
Very
goes
nicely done.
Home Improvement. Activate. And a very slow engagement between the two robots, but Resistance putting Aquaholic straight up against the wall.
Can Aquaholic bring that disc into bear? Resistance has gone for the forks, which is an interesting choice against the horizontal.
And now it's coming into Aquaholic's favour, as they've got that disc back into play. But once again, they've been manoeuvred around by Resistance. Resistance doing a great job to control. One of their forks is stuck up in the air. I wonder if that's going to hinder their ability to get under Aquaholic.
That's exactly what Aquaholic is going to want to see, taking the ground game away from Resistance.
And that actually gives Aquaholic a target, because that is a brilliant thing for its blade to hit into and fly Resistance away over to the walls.
But it looks like Aquaholic might be having some problems.
But manages to fly over the top of Resistance. Now two forks in the air. Resistance trying to get Aquaholic into the pit, but somehow avoiding. And now the arena wall getting grinded. Big hit on Resistance.
Some great blows from Aquaholic.
But a lot of this is up against the forks of Resistance, and those forks are sacrificial. They can take the damage and not really suffer any performance to the robot. Aquaholic to the edge. What is going on?
Felix!
The robot, which is Babróg, and an AntiThesis, which is meant to have a spinning weapon, but again in this fight we haven't seen it really come to life so far this competition.
Amethyst spinner we've been told to expect not to work. Sadly, it may be down for the whole tournament, which makes Amethyst a pusher, but it'll be an effective one. But Babróg here,
with the suplex, but the weight shifted of Amethyst and that pulled Babróg over. But that was a great lift and a grab, and now we have Amethyst with a bit of a pin of itself.
Pit enabled.
Amethyst, an effective pusher in its own right, even without that blade. But Babróg again with the lifts and the grabs. We love to see it.
And the button has been enabled, but they might not need it as we go into the outer zone. Amethyst just escapes, but the pit button has been pressed. The pit is now engaged.
That suplex is such a difficult move to pull off. Owen has been perfecting it with Babróg over the last few years, and it's amazing to see it whenever it happens.
I feel like Babróg just doesn't really have the reach. He does rely on the momentum to get Amethyst into the outer zone, but into the pit. That's a different story.
Amazing.
Activate.
Let's see how Bob Toss can survive this fight. And immediately out of the gates, AntiThesis is quicker. But look at the traction wars going on between the two robots as they push into each other.
AntiThesis just isn't having the reach right now, and there's a devastating blow from the paintbrush.
Not through the face of Bob Toss. The piercing arm clamping down. And it seems to be missing. The actual point of the weapon is missing. And found the gap between Bob Toss.
That will have been bending the wedge, however. Will the fork sit quite as flat as they did? Who knows?
And oh no, Bob Toss, you're painting canvas.
Descended.
The paintbrush is about to go down the pits. No!
I don't know where to look. Do I look at the mini-bot or do I look at that arm being driven into Bob Toss?
All I can see is a lowering paintbrush, and then we come back to the fight, and Bob Toss, there is a pierce maneuver going on, and we have seen it in the past. Has AntiThesis got stuck on Bob Toss?
Only allowed to grab for a certain amount of time.
So this is what we mean. It is not just a judge's decision.
Go directly to the judges, and they will be taking into account the fact that AntiThesis did cause it.
So we have 1 minute of this fight left to go, the second half of the fight. Can Bob Toss make a showing as the pit is still down, and AntiThesis is getting Bob Toss ever closer, and out, unfortunately, is Bob Toss.
Great performance from
Activate.
Second circle spinning up, Siren trying to meet head on. We know Siren can struggle a little with self-riding. Has he repaired or fixed that? It looks maybe like a get back, but 7th circle is not giving him any chance at all.
Well, it does look like Siren is kind of out. The controller's on the floor. That's it. They are out. 7th circle doing the showboating. What a very quick fight. The fight has now began. And Sir Lancefrog charging right into Chucky. This is a battle of the pushers. And is that Sir Lancefrog stuck on the wall? No, it's saying it ain't so.
It's trying to get itself away using the drive and the lifter.
So it does have a lifter which pushes forward. If that gets enough momentum, that could push. Time it well with the wheels, but that's Sir Lancefrog putting it down, or are they going to give it another go?
Go one more try.
The countdown has begun, but we don't want it to end like this. The frog chants are starting.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we can see the game. I think, this is, it's such a shame to see this happening. Yeah, I think it's been called at this stage.
We were ready for a battle of sheer will, pushing and battling maneuver. And this is going to be a head-on collision immediately. That drum beater hitting into the wheels of Forkhead, and that has flipped it up. It isn't quite where it should be. They seem to be out of sync now. The wheels seem to be out of sync.
Yeah, there is a way to fix it. As you can see it there. But again, Forkhead, you have to say, Bad Daddy is in control, but Forkhead is able to put a lot of pressure on Bad Daddy here.
Well, they're very much sizing each other up at the moment, and look at that self-right by Forkhead. That's what that robot can do, the drivability.
Unbelievable speed from Forkhead. One of the forks is bent, but again, they're able to keep putting pressure on Bad Daddy. One of the wheels in Forkhead does seem to be damaged now, though.
It's so difficult keeping up with these robots. They are so quick maneuvering around the arena floor. And Forkhead there does seem to be having a little bit of issues with his wheels. One of them has actually just come off, and that is now sticking underneath Forkhead.
It's barely hanging on. Forkhead is doing some rather innovative forms of driving here. But
this is not how you should be driving a robot if you aim to win, and Bad Daddy just doesn't really know how to engage with it.
Yeah, I mean, but very, very close call there. Forkhead's still functional, it seems. I think losing that wheel now completely has given it back some ability.
It is taking hits from Bad Daddy, but you definitely is still able to move around. But Bad Daddy, they're trying to push Forkhead into the pits using the back of the robot. Didn't quite make it, and now they are just chipping in, doing damage. And listen to that noise. What was that?
That noise, I think, was one of Forkhead's forks getting into the drum of Bad Daddy.
So I think we're going to need a bit of an untanglement here, unless Bad Daddy can take him into the pit.
Great fight for both competitors, I have to say.
Activate.
So, Data Breach looking strong here, having won its first match. Abracadabra coming from the Redemptions, but these are two very similarly designed robots, I would say, in many regards. Powerful weapons, powerful drive.
I feel like Abracadabra does have a better ability to actually grab Data Breach, but the problem is Data Breach is so quick and nippy. I feel like they would just be able to power out of the grips of Abracadabra.
I will say as well, Data Breach is a modular weapon design, so they can run many, many different weapons. For this weapon, they have chosen the lifter, and they were able to get a lift and grabber there just a moment ago. And again, right here.
Just looking at the forks of the two robots, I think Data Breach's forks are working better for them, able to get into the side of Abracadabra. Data Breach, such a low robot, really is difficult to get underneath and lift them up.
Yeah, and the fork game it's a game for a reason in robot combat, but if you can have it, if you can win every head-on interaction with an opponent, it's a major, major advantage to have.
And we can see there the little cluster bot of Abracadabra making a nuisance of themselves. It's not really achieving much, but it is fun to see.
Yeah, there you go. Another great lift from Data Breach. Keeping pressure on Abra, not allowing them to get any proper...
Well, Abracadabra is now stuck under the cluster bot, and I don't know if that's going to... Well, no, they're still stuck underneath the cluster bot. Abracadabra spinning the wheels frantically, but they just can't escape.
Yeah, no, this is... Team Abra is definitely in danger now at this stage. The pit has gone down. Feist. Oh no, they've both taken each other in.
Data Breach tactically hitting the button, restart the match.
The stance of both of these roboteers is immaculate. They are fully concentrated.
So now we're going to hear the weapon of Gizmo grind up against the forks of Bubblegum Lift. And look at this, Bubblegum Lift getting underneath, doing exactly what they say on the tins.
Yeah, Bubblegum is putting a lot of pressure here on Gizmo very early on.
But Gizmo now coming back with some replies of its own and getting into the wheels of Bubblegum Lift. That's exactly what that weapon needs to do.
One thing about Bubblegum Lift, it cannot self-right by itself. So if it is put upside down, the wedges will still scrape against the ground, but it loses access to its weapon, its lifter, which is a very valuable tool to have.
And now it's flipping head over heel, getting close to the Uta zone. But we also see Gizmo is the wrong way up, managing to self-right. Fantastically done there by Gizmo.
Yeah, very good design for Gizmo to allow it to be able to get back into situations. But both of these robots have so much energy in their drive systems. This could end in a heartbeat with one good push by either one of them.
And speaking of that, we're in that pushing match now. A fork has just been fired off from Bubblegum Lift. I believe that's Bubblegum Lift, so that's losing kind of their armor because they're really using that to stop Gizmo getting into the chassis.
Yeah, and those forks are also meant to get underneath the stick. Oh! There we go. Phenomenal fight, has to be said, that one.
Activate.
Fatal deviation, at least it's a brick. It's taken abuse before, so we'll see how much abuse it can take against Propane.
And you can definitely see there the maneuverability, able to skirt around, giving Propane a bit of a struggle, but now the shield is being needed because Propane's starting to get some damage done.
Interesting, fatal deviation is keeping the weapon lifted up high to prevent the drum from hitting it, so they're trying to lead just with the titanium. Although now it seems like it's sort of waving at this stage. Whoa, look at that.
And it's needing a bit of help here to self-ride because it is stuck. It's waddling around, but it's not really free. And the pit button is enabled.
You made me look bad, and that's not good. An iconic quote from Fatal Deviation. I don't think that lifter is actually working on Fatal Deviation like it was earlier on, and that's impacting its drive.
Well, the countdown has begun. We're near the final seconds. And unfortunately, Fatal Deviation counted out of this fight.
Activate.
So Luchador immediately getting in and flipping, but flipping themselves over in the process. Carbon copy the individual cluster butts so light, Luchador's actually over-flipping himself.
Yeah, there's enough power in that flipping arm to throw these things quite far. He's going to give it half the weight, and he's going to show that now. There he goes.
And that's a 2-for-1, absolutely. But now Carbon copy, they're starting to get in. Look at that, using the arm to actually close down Luchador's flipper.
Good grab there, but I think Luchador's a bit fast, a bit too fast for them to capitalise on that, really change the pace. There we go, skate ramp over. That's with a neat little kick flip over the top.
And now, whilst Luchador's flipping one, carbon copy, the other cluster bomb gets underneath. That was really good opportunity, but they weren't really able to do much with it.
No, not really. They seem to be a bit dysfunctional, a bit disorganised, really. Attacking each other. It's maybe they've been paid off by Jack. I'm sure they have. But there we go.
Well, the pit button has been activated. We're into the second half of this fight now as the two carbon copies are fighting each other. And Luchador almost got both of them, but the pit does take some time to lower down.
Look at this, carbon copy. Both sides of Luchador there, but Jack able to get away. And now the pin, a flip over the railing. One's gone, now it's a 1 versus 1.
And I think Luchador is just going to pin him up against the wall and say, job done. Thank you very much for coming. Luchador very close to the pit, though. That was a bit tedious.
Parks it up very nicely. A bit of parallel parking there.
I mean, the countdown still had to come. There was an opportunity where Luchador could, if they misjudged that by very, very rapid robot. This is going to be a fast-paced fight. Good luck keeping up with it. And up into the air immediately goes Schism.
And there we go, Twitty on the attack here, pinning Frenzy down. It's about keeping it under control, nearly over the wall there.
So you can see Schism really trying to put Frenzy up against that wall and then letting their spinning weapon flip them out into the area once they make contact. But now Frenzy coming back in for some damage.
Yeah, I mean, the lids on Frenzy aren't the most durable thing, so Twitty can go through them with that spinning lid on the arm. But look at this, I think there's a pin into the wall.
No, the link has come out. That is it, everybody. Frenzy is the winner. The link was removed from Schism, and Impulse is going to be driving around Rapid to try and get underneath Jackhammer, and there's going to be a pushing fight. We saw Jackhammer there go for a grab. Unfortunately for them, Impulse managed to get out of the way. And now right on the side, this is exactly what you want to do in a control battle. You need to get round the side of the robot because the forks just really get in the way. They hinder any movement. And I'm joined by Sam. Please help me out.
Impulse is really good. Really, really good. And Jackhammer, with no weapon, kind of limited in what they can actually do. They can grab and... I do like how they've kind of... I think they've changed the direction of the arm so that they can now use it as a grabber instead of just a hammer saw. But Impulse here, I mean, it's not what it's designed to do, is it, Jackhammer? It's designed to hit things. And unfortunately, they're kind of being bullied around the arena by Impulse, who is just an absolute force in the arena, isn't it?
Impulse is definitely controlling the direction, the pace of this fight, constantly staying underneath Jackhammer. They just seem to be able to get to the side of Jackhammer, no matter what Jackhammer does. Jackhammer just can't pivot, and is that Impulse getting Jackhammer into the pit?
Not quite. Jackhammer escapes, but they're kind of... I think they've got some kind of issue with their drive on that one side. They're kind of pulling to the one side, aren't they? They're not running true. Impulse hovering around the pit to try and get the pitting if they can.
Well, as I say, they got caught in no man's land because that's a difficult area.
Oh, great attack by Impulse. Down the pit goes Jackhammer at a place in the top 8.
Brian, I didn't know you were a poet.
Well, I didn't know that, but Chris Griffin 2 and Resistance come to blows in the arena. Chris Griffin 2 is not spinning as freely as they would have liked. Now they're starting to get somewhere. Their 10-inch death disc. Oh, good attack on Resistance.
And you can see that flipped up the forks there of Resistance, and right now we'd have something for them to aim for. That's going to make it harder for Chris Griffin 2 to go over the top, but actually the fork has just come back down.
Oh, great impact there, and Resistance has died on the spot. Unbelievable. Oh, it's back.
It's back. That was a little bit of a false finish there. And look at the
pit button was activated, surely. No?
No commentary bias there.
I thought it was. Ref says no. Resistance has lost a drive wheel. Chris Griffin has lost the weapon, I think.
Well, just looking at Chris Griffin, I know he's got 2 wheels there so that it can activate either way. They're not going to win a pushing match with Resistance.
Or will
That's
they?
just not something they'll do.
You never know. But Chris Griffin has scored the big damage hits, but Resistance is now back and rolling again, although that wheel is still not entirely happy.
It doesn't look like they're in full control, but they have managed to maneuver themselves around the floor. And yeah, there's definitely something sticking there, which is in Chris Griffin's favour.
Oh,
and we're getting
drag
close.
Resistance to the pits. Can they do it? Chris Griffin. Oh, it just gets away.
Well, all Resistance can do is seesaw, and to be able to get out of there with limited control, that is fantastic driving, you do have to say.
Absolutely.
So 30 seconds left of this fight, and it's still anyone's to play for. The damage category's been an interesting one. Not many big hits. It's all been based on the control. Resistance getting very close. They need to be careful here.
Yeah, they do. I think as well as that, the fact that they haven't been able to finish off Chris Griffin. Is going to count maybe against them. They're close to the pit.
And if I was Chris Griffin, I would want to stay in the corner. Resistance is more at risk here, as we just saw. Almost teetering on the
Gets
edge.
away with it.
And now they are ramming into the wall. I don't know if they can get back out.
I think they are just about great control again by Gareth, but it's going to go to time between Chris Griffin 2 and Resistance. I wouldn't want to be a judge for that one. That's
Activate.
In the, well, Babróg and AntiThesis, you should know who they are by now. We've been around a couple of fights.
absolutely. These two. Oh, brilliant attack here from AntiThesis going through the
you
back
hate
of
to see
Babróg.
it.
Oh, it's bending the arm.
You hate to see it. Babróg being
Crumpled.
squeezed, pressed, and bullied.
Jed, he has a family. Don't do that. Goodness me.
So Babróg, they're desperately going to be doing, well, there's nothing they can do. What can they do to get away from this?
Panic and wiggle the sticks is generally the idea.
But they've managed to get free, and Babróg looking fully mobile. So they are back in this game. They've got some ground to make up, though, because in terms of the judges, that's going to go heavily in AntiThesis.
I wonder how active that weapon's going to be now on Babróg, because that was what was getting bent. So keep an eye out for the Babróg weapon. They've got to get in underneath.
And I'm seeing some brilliant manoeuvring here. Babróg trying to tempt AntiThesis into a forward drive, which would have put him into the pit.
Down comes the
Not
crusher.
again! Not again! Please, I can't watch.
He's got AntiThesis by the front and do it. Oh my word!
This is so
what
cruel.
driving!
Hanging on an edge.
Amazing driving from Jed Priest. And down the pit goes.
Audience, keep your eyes peeled as they start to combine and hit into each other.
Over goes Seventh Circle, recovers with the spinning disc, but Propane is the one forcing the issue. And pushing back on Seventh Circle, struggling to get an impact on that weapon of its own.
I mean, Seventh Circle is doing a lot of damage to itself, spinning around the arena. Propane very sound and stable, but now Seventh Circle getting on the side. Disc to disc, that is never going to work.
That's the end of that. He's tapped out. That's the end of that. Propane through to the top 8, looking very impressive. Seventh Circle. Chucky, we'll workshop it.
Chucky going immediately after Bad Daddy, but Bad Daddy's weapon up to speed, and up in the air goes Chucky.
Chucky through the air, but over goes Bad Daddy upside down. Still effective upside down, still has the two-wheel drive, but loses a little bit of potency. The weapon doesn't throw the robot up in the air, it throws him into the floor.
And I think that really helps Chucky, because Chucky is quite a low-profile robot, and when that drum is the other way up, the clearance is much more in Chucky's favour. But Chucky now being thrown around by that, well, I think his own acceleration.
It's so quick around the arena, Chucky. That's one of the reasons why it's so good. Over goes Bad Daddy again.
And a good
button is available.
Good slam into the wall. We now see Bad Daddy really the wrong way up, and the pit button has been pressed, and now
Descending.
Danger Zone has been made active as the cluster bomb starts to tear into that weapon.
It really is, and Chucky's trying to keep the Bad Daddy upside down. Bad Daddy's trying to use the gyroscopic force of the weapon to turn itself over.
And Chucky just managing to help it as they engage heavily, but then Bad Daddy throwing Chucky across the arena. That was very lucky for Bad Daddy, because they were on the wrong side of the pit.
Yeah, Tom Lloyd, the driver of Bad Daddy, has driven. Oh my God, they're both down!
I can't call that.
Wow.
I cannot call it.
Can we have a replay, Stephen? Streamy Stephen, what have you got for?
Gizmo is going to go through to the final.
I do. I think Gizmo is definitely one of the ones to beat. Although Data Breach has no fear and turns Gizmo over straight away.
And now we see that Gizmo's weapon is doing them a disservice, but they are using it to self-right. That's fantastic control.
It really is. Gizmo, there's a reason why they've won. They won this event I think it was the February event last year. They were second here last year as well in the Bristol Top Builders Championships.
But Data Breach is looking to be the lower robots, so they're getting underneath as they are now fork and fork. But I think Gizmo is struggling, and once again Gizmo flying all over the place.
The length of the forks could be crucial here, because Data Breach has got the longer forks, it's able to kind of interact with the chassis of Gizmo first. Gizmo, meanwhile, struggling to get any kind of purchase. Now it's doing it, and it's now juggling Data Breach around the arena. That's what they need to do. Pit button has been activated.
But Data Breach managing to self-right. I think that is crucial, and they're once again being aggressive, going right back in, stopping Gizmo from getting that weapon into their wheels, because the wheels is what I think Gizmo is aiming for.
I think the pit button wasn't actually activated there, that's why it hasn't gone down. So let's see a pit button pressed. He now has been. Data Breach now being shredded by Gizmo. Gizmo's starting to build those damage points up against Data Breach.
Oh, and that was very precarious there for Data Breach. Gizmo trying to ram in, but thankfully for Data Breach, they have better traction as they take Gizmo over to the Uta
Good
zone.
attack again by Data Breach. In underneath Gizmo, this is a great fight. Data Breach doing what I couldn't. Oh, Gizmo almost down the pit, but gets away. Data reach up and over, and down the pits. That's why Gizmo is so dangerous.
Activate.
Away we go for our first round of 8 fights between Frenzy and Luchador.
And we can see their Frenzy struggling a little bit with the gyration of their spinner, but now they're getting in there. But Luchador with a good flip.
Yeah, good flip from Luchador. Frenzy trying to right itself using the gyro forces makes it happen. They are more effective that way up than upside down. That's why they want to be that way.
But Luchador again getting into the side of Frenzy. And look at that speed from Frenzy. Uncontrolled aggression.
If it can get a hit off, it could be potentially devastating for Luchador, but it's getting the hit off. And Luchador is just, and Jack are just experts at navigating these kind of tight tactical fights.
Absolutely, staying on the
flip
side,
from Luchador, yeah.
flipping Frenzy up into the air, and then when Frenzy comes down, their beater is actually doing more damage to him. Now I am looking at Luchador, they are getting stuck on the floor.
They are indeed. Frenzy and Luchador face to face.
And that was a forceful impact by Frenzy there actually. They really had a lot of power going into that.
Yep. Pit button was brushed, I think.
But Luchador
Oh, the leg
stationary.
has gone.
The leg!
Luchador has stopped, and that's the end of that. Jack's
Commentator's curse.
Jack has put the controller down. Last year's champion will go no further. It is Frenzy who progresses to the final 4, and Luchador last year.
Activate.
Impulse straight out of the traps. Chris Griffin too, trying to get that weapon up to speed, doesn't get it, hits the wall. That was poor driving, and again Impulse has now got Chris Griffin in its clutches.
I don't think Chris Griffin really relies on that weapon too much. They do a lot of maneuverability. They do drive their robot and control it quite well.
They do, but they need the weapon to kind of get the big hits off. And the problem is, a weapon that big takes a little bit longer to spin up. And the problem is with that, he needs time and space to do it. Impulse is not giving it.
I think another challenge for Chris Griffin is that Impulse has that kind of scoop effect where it just seems to go underneath the disc.
Absolutely.
There's nothing really for the disc to catch up onto if Impulse goes in head on.
Absolutely, and I think, as I said, Chris Griffin not really getting a chance to spin that weapon up. They need to be a bit careful of Impulse, they don't just drive down the pit or something when they try and eliminate them, but Chris Griffin here has not really been at the races, and I think...
And this is always the challenge when you're the pusher bot. It's
great.
so easy for you to go
That's what he needed.
underneath.
Impulse has now got his forks hooked in the disc, but lets him go. Interesting. I would have thought he would try and drag him towards the pit, but he's going to do it instead and just push him down.
And that was why it's so difficult. But I have to say, Impulse, really strategic there. They knew where the pit edge was. They didn't want to go in themselves. And now it's so
and Chris
close.
Griffin.
Chris
Well,
Griffin, one wheel over.
Do you know what? I'm
It's
glad he's gone. I'm glad he's gone. Chris Griffin to Bane.
Activate.
Away we go.
and wasting no time at all. AntiThesis going right after Propane, who managed to get AntiThesis up onto one wheel. Their Beta is doing a great job to keep AntiThesis at arm's length.
But so far, AntiThesis is not showing no fear, going face to face with Propane over and over again, but struggling to get in underneath. And a good impact there from Propane.
Yeah, I think AntiThesis actually went backwards into
now that could be
Propane.
crucial. That is one of the street neck arms of AntiThesis. If both of those go, AntiThesis gets turned over. They are over and out for good. And Andy has done enough there. Look, on the one side, it can't self-right. AntiThesis is stuck on its back and has tapped out. And Propane will go through to the semi-finals. I think...
Activate.
Right out the gate, Chucky accelerating on Gizmo, looking to have gotten around them to start off with, but they both move so fast.
I think one of the problems with Chucky is that they have so much acceleration, they do a wheelie, and that means their forks are kind of up in the air. They're not going underneath Gizmo, and Gizmo now grinding away at the back of Chucky, going after the mini-bot just because they can.
Yeah, but you can see again, once again, it seems that Chucky, on a head-on collision, does still seem to be able to get underneath Gizmo and clip them like that. This has been it's been a competition where Gizmo has had to fight for every single win. A lot of really good control bots, and Chucky is starting to gain a bit of momentum now for himself.
But this is good by Gizmo. They're using Gizmo. This is good by Chucky. They're using Gizmo's weapon against them by letting it do that damage to itself. The vibrations going through Gizmo, that has the potential to knock something loose.
Yeah, it's a useful strategy, but there's still a lot of this fight to go. Gizmo can get back on its wheels from any angle, taking a bit of a chunk there out of the arena wall.
And unlucky for Chucky, they got caught being juggled by Gizmo, but Chucky now back on where it needs to be, using the cluster bot almost to keep Gizmo at arm's reach.
Yeah, I mean, Chucky has just got, it's so speedy, it's so bouncy, I think is probably the best way to describe it.
I think both of these robots are quite bouncy, and they're really, really well built because they're still going as we have 38 seconds left.
Oh no!
Descending.
Gizmo knocked out the mini-bot. Easy shot there. Already continuing to put pressure on Chucky, who's looking a little slower now.
Well, I don't know if this is coming across on the live stream, but that was being grinded away at the back, and Chucky has had to tap out as Gizmo wore away. Activate! And look at that immediately, head-to-head collision.
Yeah, so instantly Impulse getting a sort of exactly what it wanted really from the start. Getting Frenzy up top, but now Frenzy is up to speed, and Impulse is doing decently in his engagement, so...
I mean, Frenzy is up to speed, but I think that's hurting it, because Impulse is charging in with those metal forks, and that is flying Frenzy off, and doing more damage to Frenzy, I think.
Now, critical to Impulse, it needs that weapon to keep working. If it loses that weapon, it's tough.
Well, no, it just becomes a pushing game, and granted, that puts it more in Impulse's favour, but Frenzy is a quick robot, look at it.
Robot, but if it gets knocked upside down, it can't self-right, it doesn't have a weapon. So
and now that weapon dragging it off into the wall, and Impulse positioning Frenzy to the pit, but not quite.
Yeah, very interesting evasive move there from Frenzy, and a beautiful whack there. Impulse taking a lot of big hits here. One of the forklifts bent up in a very awkward position.
And that's going to really hinder their ability to drive underneath. We're into the second half of this match. Frenzy once again going up into the air.
And I believe in bouncing on top of Impulse, Frenzy has hit the link on Impulse. It doesn't seem to be moving.
Well, I'm not sure if it's a link. Is it stuck under the wall? Either way, Frenzy is through to the final. Activate.
Both weapons up to speed. Fairly short forks on both of them. Propane winning the first engagement. Gizmo self-riding eventually, maybe not. Taking another hit in the process, certainly. And one of those forks is looking bent on Gizmo.
Well, I'm not quite sure what Propane managed to hit there, but fantastic sparks coming off of Gizmo. And I would say Propane so far in control. Gizmo needing to get in and get some aggression done. And now it looks like they're on the offensive.
Yeah, looking much more powerful from Propane here. Landing those Gizmo trying to get around, but just not able.
Well, Gizmo's trying to get underneath Propane, but they don't have enough traction. The forks are getting stuck and they can't lift up Propane.
Well, actually, some of the forks on Gizmo are bent up in such a way it's stopping, I think, Propane from hitting their weapon. Meanwhile, Propane is continually getting underneath.
And I think that was an accidental hit of the button. I'm not sure either of these robots really want the pit to come into effect.
Yeah, I mean, it's still anyone's game, any simple movement. That was a nasty hit there. Weapon to weapon.
But thankfully for Gizmo, they just went straight up. They didn't end up in the outer zone, which is so easy to do. We're in the second half of this fight now. I think Gizmo needs to get on the offensive.
Yeah, I mean, we can see here a lot of chunks from Gizmo. The link is out. And just like that, Gizmo is finally
activates. Gizmo up to speed and Impulse gets it face to face with it immediately, but over goes Gizmo once again. Impulse not afraid to stick its weapon in where it might hurt.
And I think Impulse is definitely in the lead so far in terms of their control. But now Gizmo getting a good hit, but once again being upside down. They're really struggling to stay on the right side of their wheels.
They are. Also, one of the forks of Impulse weren't coming back down, but they're back okay now. Impulse trying to turn Gizmo over once again. Gizmo shredding up those 3D printed side panels.
And you can just hear the forks of Propane.
Oh, I think that's it.
Impulse, sorry.
No lifter for Impulse. Impulse on its back. Gizmo, he may not have won this year, may not have come second this year. On the podium, once again, Ellis Ware and Gizmo. Very impressive. Steady. Activate. Away we go. Weapons up to speed. They go face to face. Propane turns over. Frenzy, and Frenzy's already lost a fork, but Propane turn over in return.
So Frenzy now a bit on the back foot. You can see the wheels are exposed. Up into the roof goes Frenzy, and Propane doing a fantastic amount of damage.
Weapon's gone!
Frenzy.
Oh no, it's Propane's weapon that's gone, not this time.
Frenzy's done so much damage with that one hit, so much momentum, and now they have the advantage.
But Propane is crucially still running. What can Frenzy do? They are currently smacking the floor.
Well, Frenzy.
The button is available. Over goes Propane on his back.
Frenzy desperately needs to get under control. They are bouncing all over the place, and it's that Propane out of action.
Oh, enormous impact, and Propane's wheel at the back is all shredded. Oh, brutal.
It looks like the chassis are twisted of both of these robots. Another big impact as they both go up into the air. And another one.
The count will get hit by Frenzy and Monotone, but Frenzy is going out the arena. No, it survives. Propane is immobilized. Frenzy is still working, and Frenzy's going to win it. from... What a final! What a final!
Activate.
Hard to say who's going to go for who at the start of this match. Flick getting a good throw on C.D.G to start off.
Dolos coming in. Another pin on C.D.G. Flick coming behind as well. I think Dolos really wants Alex's robots. Really loves it. Wants to give it a big old hug. I think it's about to now. There it goes. It's ruthless, isn't it, really?
Some massive blows from Dolos.
Is this bullying? I think this is bullying. He's... Morgan.
I'm not a teacher anymore, so I don't have to call it out. Look at those.
Oh, is that a belt gone? I think what is
Looks
that?
like one of the lifter arms, possibly.
Oh, I think it's all gone, Craig. It might all be gone.
Flick is sad in the corner. Links out. And Dolos is now just absolutely ripping into C.D.G. Invert mode. It's still moving. That is a fight.
Activate.
In the pit area is Flick, and that only leaves Demon Spirit up against the pit wall, and immediately they go into one big cluster of a pile.
Yeah, so hopefully this will get untangled in time. Already we can see Demon Spirit sort of making the first advantage here. Now we will see can Flick self-right with its spring flipper. Winding up. There we go.
Hey, a beautiful little
Very
jump
nice
from Flick. That's actually a really cute little mechanism.
Yeah,
it's
and
got
now
there.
you can see it there working in. So it's taking a bit of time. I think it seems to take about a second to fully, maybe like 2 seconds to arm up. But,
Enable.
I mean, so long as it's got electrical power, it's going to be quite as powerful every time.
So Flick actually managing to flip itself over with the power of its weapon. Yeah. And we've got Gra-bee and, Demon Spirit, all of them just muddled in together. Gra-bee's trying to find someone to hold on to as Flick comes in behind and turns him upside down. And look at that pinch on Corman, really pulling the wheels in together.
Yeah, Corman's trying to hit Gra-bee with the flail back sort of as revenge. But it doesn't seem to be able to have the momentum to actually lift it up. Spirit has been actually getting under quite a few opponents here at this stage. It's driving much better at this than in the main tournament, actually, said.
Yeah, which is a bit of a shame for them. They would have loved a better starting in the beginning of the competition, but still the whiteboards are a great chance for some fun, some opportunity to get involved. And Gra-bee there, trying to get involved, trying to hold on to Flick, I think, but couldn't quite do so because Demon Spirit pushed him up against the wall.
Yeah, so again, more pressure from Demon Spirit. Flick continually active, but struggling a bit to actually land the major hits. And you can see, the force of the weapon if it doesn't go off in time.
Fight balls.
I'm sorry, buddy. It's not going to you, mate. Jog on.
3, 2.
So some friendly hand gestures exchanged between the two, but we're back into the fight. Flick getting immediately onto his wheels, and Gra-bee getting hit as a result. And immediately Gra-bee goes straight for the wheels of Corman. They're just having a big hug.
10,
Yeah, no,
9,
Gra-bee's got its target.
7, 6,
is in there.
5,
Flick
4,
still struggling
3,
again. More pressure
2,
from Demon
1.
Spirit there. And there we go, we're at the end of the fight. That was a fun one.
Interesting.
Activate.
Well, with the blend of robots in the arena, you've got to prepare for everything. And Thomas has tried to do that. He's got the half force, and never mind, it won't save him from that at all.
Already one wheel knocked out. Dolos with a new wedge that we've never really seen here. This tri-wedge saw blaze inspired, I would say.
Whittled away is on its side. It's not looking good, but Freak over there, please take care of the arena walls. They're delicate.
It feels like Dolos is trying to get Got Any Grapes back into the fight. Incredibly sporting.
Well, I can see the belt of Got Any Grapes, and their wheels or their feet are moving, but the weapon is just not allowing them off the wall, so they are stuck. And Freak now, with that fully charged weapon, actually they just depowered it.
Dolos' arm has fallen off, by the way.
Indeed.
Oh my goodness.
That was a very nasty hit there, but again, that's why an overcutter like Freak can be very dangerous at times. Literally lift that arm itself.
It's a wheel off Yao's robot. It's 2 wheels off Yao's robot. Freak is hitting the wall.
An absolute freak today, it has to be said.
Everyone is
Rattling around.
broken, bad, and bruised. Beginning with that.
I don't know, but all I can say is Freak is still working. We can see that the arm is so messed up.
It's so sad.
It seems like like Thomas is trying to get. Oh, he's just setting the weapon
getting
straight
in there.
No fear at all. This is why whiteboards are so good. You would never do that in a main tournament.
Oh, he would. Yeah, always does.
True, actually,
Yeah,
yeah. No, legend.
Oh, there he goes.
Morgan seeing that there was a chance of fun in the arena has ended it.
God, Morgan, known for ending fun. That's what he's known for, really.
Anyway, Freak still spinning up, still freaking it out. Dallas sort of now with nothing really for Freak to hit. Oh, and sort of Breaks getting bullied.
Oh, is it Harry driving Freak? He's driving Freak, Harry T, and he's gone down the pit.
There you go.
Dallas, your winner.
Activate.
Away we go. Oh, there is a spin up from Digestive, a bit sluggish, but it's getting there, maybe. It is, I think. Down comes the Kairos Saw, almost on the link of Digestive. Careful of that. Good impact there from Ernie. Oh, big impact there on Digestive, who was stopped and stilled. That's the end of Digestive, I think. Oh dear. He has had a tough day. Kairos. I don't know what, is that a gash in the arena? I don't know what that is. No, it's a magnet. So a magnet's come off of Digestive on the bottom, and Kairos is now stuck to the magnet on the arena floor, and Ernie shredding Monterey Jack's wheels. Good push by Kairos into the pit button. Oh, and a big impact there.
Descending.
But I think, yeah, the chainsaw cutting on Kairos. Kairos has his outer armor. It's been shredded. The disc has been destroyed. Something else has come flat. It's carnage. Oh, the motor has come out from Kairos, been ripped out. Ernie is absolutely on the warpath. They're nice people, he says. Kairos, one wheel on their wagon. Monterey Jack still in there with the chainsaw as well. Ernie, where's this been from Ernie, by the way? Ernie has been, struggling all day with his weapon, but he's now suddenly woken up and is absolutely dominant in this fight. Tapping out is Kairos, so we're left with Monterey Jack. And Ernie, but Ernie almost in the pit. Almost in the pit. Can they get away? They're gyroing. And Monterey Jack stops. Unbelievable. Can they move? No, down the pit goes Ernie.
7, 6, 5.
The cheese boy has done it.
That was
He's
phenomenal.
cheesed the win, if anything.
Activate.
In the red corner. Away we go. All four weapons up to speed. Oh, and Home Improvement goes flying. Sparks fly.
Not only flying, but damaging into the wall. Whoa, look at the damage
Home
there.
Improvement's lost his front wedge. All the electronics are now exposed. What happened there? Something exploded. Oh, it's entirety of Groundbreaker. Groundbreaker's got
gone.
The battery is out and it is smoking. Wow. So, Arena has been called. Oh, there you go. There goes the battery. He's so excited. Look at him go.
That is a kid in a candy store. I've never seen such a big grin.
Activate.
But the fight's about to recommence. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. Let's see what more carnage we can do.
C.D.G has stopped working completely, I think. That's the end of that. Home Improvement's still working. Babróg seems to be the only fully functional robot left.
And I think we're about to see C.D.G go down. No, they're on the edge.
Well, see, I don't know what's happened to C.D.G because it spanned up a little bit and now it's just stopped and I think has just died next to the pit. So that's the end of C.D.G. Home Improvement battered away by Babróg. Where was this Babróg earlier as well?
I don't know, but all it took was a tiny, tiny nudge.
Oh, and a tap
and that
out.
is everyone tapped out.
Well, that was it. All the damage and carnage was caused earlier on. Away we go. Poor Kenneth. Straight in there.
Absolutely
No
straight in there.
fear.
And the shield is kind of coming off of Kenneth. Paradigm spin now back up to speed.
Oh, Bonkers and Icebreaker face to face. Kiss already! Paradigm spins.
It's turned into a blade. Absolutely flipped upside down. And watch it go.
It's shedding its skin. Okay, I think Paradigm Spin is now dead. The link has come out. Kenneth, meanwhile, has been shredded by Icebreaker. Bonkers has got Icebreaker over. Kenneth on its face. Kenneth is on its face but caved in once again.
So now Icebreaker
still good.
and Bonkers, they're now going head to head. And they are not letting either of them build up speed. Kenneth is wiggling in the corner. And we got a cheer going for Kenneth. The crowd are getting behind him.
Icebreaker's fork has been buckled and bent on one side, and Icebreaker's under pressure from Bonkers, who has been very impressive in this fight. Oh, there goes the link of Kenneth. Kenneth is dead.
Icebreaker, cool as ice, really just taking him out of the fight. And now it's a 2-robot fight. Bonkers and Icebreaker. Is Icebreaker stuck?
Icebreaker's high centered, but it's out of the arena now. He teed him up beautifully and
Activate.
Already starting off. Forkhead would probably be the one with the strongest performance here so far, but Flick is also good. And Baba Yaga and C.D.G are real wild cards here, I would say.
And it's really nice seeing some robots that haven't made their way into the competition. So that's great. Oh, I almost thought Forkhead was going to get a robot into the Uta zone.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Came very close there. Baba Yaga in the corner seemingly stuck, although it might have gotten, well, potentially have gotten a hand from C.D.G. Flick using the flipper cell sliding. Forkhead putting pressure on Flick in turn.
So Flick, we can see there that weapon kind of, they're trying to use it to jump themselves off the top of the robot, I think, and now we're seeing Forkhead doing a bit more aggression on Tsukikake.
Yeah, to use the Flick here. So what can we see? Looks like Forkhead is reaching somewhat of a limit of how much you can actually lift on the weapon in situations like this. You can see there, Baba Yaga
Descending.
seemingly has been in every single
Descending.
position except on its wheels.
Well, I think Flick was desperately trying to help, but actually they didn't do much at all. And Baba Yaga, and now we got Tsukikake also upside down. That corner, it just seems to be the area of desperation where you cannot move.
Tsukikage does have a lift hook himself, right, but it seems to be getting caught in its own forks. It's tried a different config.
So now this is Forkhead's fight to control, and we want to see a robot into the pit, don't we, ladies and gents?
Yeah,
absolutely. So Forkhead, can you give the crowd what they want? Which robot is going to go into the pits? Oh, I thought it was going to be Flick for a second.
Very, very controlled there, getting out of danger. The Forkhead, you would say, is winning these head-on engagements.
It's definitely the one that's had the most control throughout this fight, as Tsukikake. It's such a sad sight, looking at upside down, rooming around. We have 10 seconds left for this fight. I'm not sure anyone's going to get into the pit.
Yeah, no, I mean, anything can happen.
4,
a few last
3,
flicks from
2,
Flick.
1.
Yeah, we'll go to the judges.
Seize.
And it is a 3-on-3. Roboteers, remember who your teammates are. Do not destroy your own team.
Yeah, I mean, I've already forgotten who's on which team, and I think some of the Roboteers probably have as well. You can see, oh no!
And Bop is immediately out. I'm not quite sure what went wrong, but they're immediately out, so it's now a 3-on-2.
I don't think I can believe it! We can see here, I mean, how are we going to commentate this?
Well, I've got Joe keeping count in front of me. It's 2-on-3. And Bubblegum is now going after the Lance from the pit button has been hit.
Yeah.
How many robots do you think we can get in that pit?
Maybe 3. Yeah, Aggro getting some good lifts on opponents. Aggro Wobba trying to remain in, does not have the axe anymore, but still has a good drive.
And Aggro Wobba, as you say that, has good drive, not so much, goes straight in. Bubblegum, maybe the cause of them going in there. So now we are a 1-on-3. How is this going to cope? I believe it's Sir Lancefrog up on their own. They are fending for themselves. And can they get anyone into the pit?
This is a... I mean, yeah, I don't know how Lancefrog is able to drive at all. Still holding its own against 3 control robots, one of which nearly drove into the pits.
So that's the silver robot. Sir Lancefrog is by themselves. They are fending off 3 robots, all chasing after him. If I was Sir Lancefrog, maybe dance around the pit, see if you can get someone to fall in. The frog chants are starting. Can they win? Can they survive? 30 seconds left.
You can see who the audience think is good. And oh my God! What was that? He's taking out 2. Oh no, but the fight's not over.
It's still going. It's still going.
Okay, they're all
But it's now even. It's a 1-on-1.
It
17 seconds left. How did that happen?
I don't know. I looked away for half a second. Oh, Frog is looking so much stronger now. So close.
7,
No!
6,
5,
4.
Is it in the pit?
2, 1. Seize. Activate.
So immediately all of the robots going into the middle. Babróg trying to get underneath Siren, as we can see Bob Toss is trying to compete as well. Fatal Deviation is driving around in a circle at the moment. Siren and Beat the Devil are fighting each other.
Why is there a little hat in there?
I don't know. I believe it was some kind of a sort of a ceremonial thing. We can see here Babróg getting a lift on Siren, trying to go for the suplex, failing as Bob Toss goes against Fatal Deviation. Some really hectic action here, all driving around each other. Siren going for a push, sort of misses Fatal Deviation, pushing fast as well, also sort of missing. Great lift from Siren and fatal deviation, but Babróg's trying to suplex both of them. Cannot suplex both of them, unfortunately. You can see as well Bob Toss doing some infighting with its own mini-bot as Siren
I'll
pushes
cover this.
Babróg.
I'll cover this, actually. We got Siren with a great attack on Babróg. Babróg on the defense now.
Yeah. Well, I think it was more of a tactical retreat, but we can see oh no!
Oh, that deserves a boo. Babróg chucking Bobros into the pit.
Well, hold on. I think that could be
Defend
counted
yourself,
as points.
Owen.
I think that can be counted as points, although I'm not even sure if I pushed in myself.
You definitely
Fatal
grabbed
deviation
Babróg.
going on against
Bob's
Siren, but Babróg with its incredible drive system is keeping it at bay. Another great lift here, potentially. No real suplexes from either one. Fatal deviation getting a lift here. Can Babróg finally get a suplex
Well,
of
can
some kind?
Babróg get 2 for 1?
Hey,
As it does.
did indeed!
That is
And
a double
you can see there,
suplex.
Babróg, oh, no fun at all, just throwing everyone else in the pit.
Go on, Owen, clean it up.
Absolutely.
Clean it up. Come
Fatal
on.
deviation, trying to get back on its
Go on,
wheels.
suplex him in.
Oh! And there we go.
You absolute
Effortless.
show off.
Masterful from Babróg. Wait, there's one more. There's one more. The fight's technically
You've
not
got
over.
10 seconds. 10 seconds left. Can he do it? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
I'm going to be boring.
4. Seeds.
There you go. That was quite an ego trip.
Let's get this fight underway.
We're about to find out. They're going to let them spin up. Ernie's going. Freak is going. Jeremy, calm down, Jeremy.
Interestingly, Freak went in upside down, so that was clearly a
And that's
tactical
why.
decision.
All right, Doris is going in. Morgan, send it into someone, please. We really want to see it. Freak's bouncing. Ernie's like kind of waddling, gyring around. Freak is everywhere.
Well, I think Roman is immediately knocked out. They don't seem like they can move anymore. Freak has not stopped dancing, and now Ernie is on top of Roman.
Oh my goodness. Oh, there's something off there. Morgan, is that part? That's part of your robot. That's a real guard.
So Freak's weapon seems to be inactive. The pit button has been hit. Ernie seems to be the only spinner with a weapon in this fight. And look at that shield of Dolos. It's been ripped into.
Yeah, well, it's designed to do that. It's going to be like bright yellow confetti all day in this arena.
Quite fluorescent confetti.
Oh, an aerial attack, and Ernie's flipped over. God, this is getting quite sad now.
I mean, Kimura actually is now coming alive in this fight, starting to push people around.
I think Tony was just playing possum. He's just gone, oh, I'm dead. But no.
No, they're still alive. But Dolos might have something to say about that as they desperately try and get Roman into the pit, or at least over into that area.
Morgan, can you spin up and hit Cormoran for us? We all want to see it. Just come on.
I can see the wheels of Ernie still spinning, so that robot is not immobilized. Maybe Cormoran can unstick that robot and get Ernie back into the fight.
I don't think it's moving, Gab. I'm going to keep it real. Ernie is probably out.
Well, there's 20 seconds, less than 20 seconds left in this fight. I think most of the damage has already happened. A lot of the weapons appear to be immobilized as we go into the final 10.
Morgan, is it not spinning? It's not spinning.
4, 3, 2, 1.
There we have it. Oh, it's Dolos in the pit. Guys, chaos.
Activate.
They jumped the gun, but it's
gun.
fine. Nobody saw it.
Well, that 20 quick goes a long way, doesn't
That's what I'm saying. But look, we got Bob attacking a small child robot in carbon copy number 1 and bringing the hammer down on Demon Spirit. Gra-bee going, it's a takeout of their own teammate.
Well, I don't think we have any teams in this. I think it is a free-for-all.
No, Craig's wearing the Team B shirt. They are aligned, and they've made it very clear. Carbon copy is still getting its face malleted in by Bob.
Descending.
Demon Spirit with a good old shove there.
It's definitely Bob. But now we have 3 robots.
And it's Carbon Copy down. Reese needs to get out of there, and he does.
Completely out. They are gone. And Bob is now desperately trying to get away, and they do so. So Carbon Copy, both robots going down in quick succession.
And look, I'll tell you, it's personal. Reese at Brawl, his last event, lost to Team B. He lost to Team B and he's out for revenge, but I don't think he's going to get it.
Well, Gra-bee's on the edge.
Oh, my
Gra-bee's on the edge of the pits. If they go backwards, they're in. They do not have much room to maneuver. I don't know how they're going to get out. They're not. They're on the edge. All it takes is a slight little nudge. Maybe Nippy can come in to save Gra-bee. I don't know. I mean, this is on the edge.
It's rough. It's hard to do. I don't know. I'm on the edge of my seat.
I feel like Bob should sacrifice themselves, charge in to nudge Gra-bee over the edge. That is exactly what Bob should do.
The Demon Spirit here with a push.
Well, Demon Spirit stopping Bob from saving Gra-bee. Is Bob going to try and save him? 20 seconds left. Craig, you're going to be careful.
A sacrifice worthy, and B is free.
worthy
It's a 1v1.
10, 9,
So now it's the
8,
B against the
7,
Demon.
6,
And it's 5 seconds
What?
left.
That's an anime and a half, isn't it?
Absolutely.
2,
There we go. In the last charge, and she's done it.
The villain of the day.